Hey guys, this is CADMA here from Apple TV in conjunction with It Came From The Radio. We are here at CradleCon, and I like some soda. So I'm here with the official soda. I have to ask you, you do music, you got books, you're very, very creative. You're creating things by hand. I mean, my God, there's a lot that goes on in that head. If you shake the soda bottle up too much, I'm gonna have so much fun with this interview. Tell me about your music and what is that that you're creating in your music.
Musically, I mean, I've always been, ever since I was little, like relating to artists, like on a different level than my friends. You know, they would listen to records and they'd be like, yeah, it's cool, but I would really dive deep into them. I'd spend hours just like reading liner notes and getting to know the words and everything. And a lot of these records that I love, that I grew up with, really kind of saved me, you know? So with my music, I ultimately wanted to just reach people and let them know if you're going through something, like, you're not alone. So a lot of my music, I just say alternative because it covers a wide spectrum of like singer-songwriter, super heavy stuff, light stuff, experimental. And lyrically, I'm kind of ambiguous at times, but at the same time, it's super personal. So again, I always just wanted to reach people. A lot of people get into this kind of thing for money, and there's tons of money in entertainment and this type of business. Making a living off it is a beautiful thing, but hanging out here with you today is like better than like any kind of money could really ever give for you know what I mean? This is the experiences and meeting people and just hanging out. That's the best part, you know. And making a couple bucks is great, you know, but this is what I'll remember more than selling like 2 CDs today or like a couple of candles, you know. And
that's exactly why we have so many different flavors of soda, because they're all great flavors. I am not going to let that guy love this.
I'm not a soda drinker though. I'm an iced tea drinker. I do drink ginger ale, but iced tea is my thing. They don't call me iced tea though. That was taken by some other guy.
We're not going to name him though. So what I want to ask you as an artist, you obviously dove in deep. You know, when you're listening to the songs, you're reading the lyrics, you're like, man, this is what this is. You're looking at the symbology of everything. What artists do you find that you grew up with that tends to have like an influence on your music or style?
I mean, I'll rattle off like tons and tons of names of artists that you guys might not know. I mean,
go ahead, honey.
There's this band called Seed that I love from like the early 90s, Jellyfish. This band, Jellyfish, that is my favorite band that I love. I'm like a hardcore collector of their stuff. They have 2 records, and they have just tons of obscure things out in the world, and I'm always finding them and just adding them to my collection. Nirvana, The Cure, Smashing Pumpkins, a lot of like Canadian alternative rock from the late 90s that I got into in the early 2000s, like Limblifter, The Age of Electric, Zucker Baby. Really early Marilyn Manson, lots of 80s new wave, Boy George, Prince, you know, Freddie Mercury. These guys kind of broke the mold and like told us all that we could be, you know, feeling at least halfway decent in our own skin. You know what I mean? They helped get that rolling. Pete Burns from Dead or Alive. You know, all these unique, wonderful individuals that really broke the mold for us to go forward and be, you know, ourselves.
You have such a beautiful, eclectic taste in music. You and I must hang out. So when it comes to writing songs, so I at one point I wanted to go into music. I love music. I live for it. But writing my stories and then writing lyrics are like 2 separate ball games. And not a lot of people understand that it's just writing. You just rhyme some stuff. No, it's not how it works. So for one of the songs that you've created, what was the most, I guess, personal, or maybe the most difficult, or maybe your most happy song that you were like, I'm really proud of this one the most, if you had to pick one song?
Okay, so this band, I was in this band called His Mighty Robot. I did this for 7 years. We toured the East Coast, I think I did Canada with them, I don't know. But this stuff, these are really important for a lot of different reasons. 3 of my band members that I had throughout the course of this band have passed for different reasons. So it's a really crazy, wild 7 years here. There's like a giant book that can be written about this specific project alone, but the songs on here, I mean, there's a song that I wrote about Matthew Shepard, who was, I think Midwest. He was horribly beaten and set out like on a fence because he was gay, and it was just brutal, you know what I mean? And Matthew Shepard went to be almost like a martyr, you know? But we did a song called To Flourish, To Burn, which is kind of, I hate to say inspired, because how could you be inspired by such a thing? I mean,
you can be inspired by tragedy because it would provoke you to want to make a change. So
we did that song, and then we put out this record called The Conflict, which is like a loosely conceptual record based on a character called Sad Boy, which we meet him here when he's snapped, he's breaking down, so he's having multiple sexual partners, he's experimenting with drugs and everything, and he winds up dying at the end by assisted suicide, which is like a bizarre topic. So, I mean, again, these are deep. I don't say that because I was a part of it, but we put a lot of work into them, you know?
No, I love that. I like the fact that you're touching topics that a lot of people tend to be very scared to approach.
I always wanted to, and even, you know, I mean, we got letters from people in Australia, from the UK. It was really neat. It was really, really neat. So this was, you know, this went pretty far for a very independent thing. So.
Oh my God, this is a true artist here, a real true artist. And I personally do appreciate the fact that there's another book, I'll tell you about it after the interview, where the guy as a comic book, he's creating topics for kids to be more exposed to things that are actually very real. They're called Lucky Zilla. They're very, very amazing. Rich, yeah! Everyone loves Rich.
The circuit. Rich is adorable. I just want to pinch his cheeks.
I can't wait for him to hear that part. He's gonna be like, "What?" So now you're obviously writing stuff as well. Now you're doing so much. So now that you have candles over here, you've got light switches, which the Nightmare on Elm Street one is cool, but even I'm scared to buy that one because I'd be like, knowing my luck, I'd turn like, okay, cool, like And so what got you into sort of just creating these really wicked, candle pillar glasses, and then the rest of this amazing, wonderful 1980s, like I'm having, nostalgic memories here kind of thing going?
Well, we all start out liking stuff, you know what I mean? And we're inspired by it. So for me to tell you that I am artistically involved in a lot of different avenues, but I'm like a super geeky fanboy at heart, you know what I mean? I wear that on my sleeve. Like, I can talk to you for hours about the fact that Larry Kenny, Lion-O, is like 10 feet away from us hanging out today, which is insane, you know what I mean? So it's just like my homage, my ode to all of this great stuff that I grew up with. It makes me think of my mom a lot. You know, I recently, actually last week, we bought this amazing display cabinet for our house, and I filled it with all these old figures like Thundercats, Master of the Universe, and stuff like that. And I just remember my mother would always bring these figures home. You know, she was cool. And my sister worked at a department store, and like every time she got paid, she'd bring home like some geeky action figure for me. You know what I mean? And as peculiar as I was as like a kid and kind of a peculiar adult, you know what I mean? I'm super well adjusted. I'm responsible. I don't screw around. You know what I mean? But this has always been a part of my life, and I never grew out of it. You know what I mean? I just never grew out of it, and I am so not ashamed to admit that. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's a big part of my life. I love meeting other like-minded people that I can just have like a crazy, geeky, passionate conversation with, instead of somebody telling me like, you need to grow up and get over it. I'm like, that's not the case. At this point, it's not going to change. This is who I am. This is who I am.
It's too late. Let it go.
So we need to accept that, you know?
So we're going to exclude any of the celebrities that are here, minusing the people who are here. Which cartoon did you like growing up? If you had to just pick one, you were like, that was my cartoon. I had to run home for that, or you had to wake up really early to watch it. Tough questions, right?
You know what? Maybe Gem and the Holograms. Because of the...
She's outrageous. Is that what it was?
Well, besides that, Britta Phillips, who was the singing voice of Gem, her stuff now is just really beautiful and amazing. She just put out a solo record after all these years, only about a year and a half ago. She worked with this band called Luna, and then she did this thing, Dean and Britta, which was her and her husband, who was also in Luna. Britta's voice is amazing and beautiful. I could listen to her sing any day of the week, and all that Gem stuff. Like, I remember just, you know, being like super little and being truly outrageous, so...
Like any other soda flavor should be. You have no idea how much I love that nickname of yours. And I do have to ask, before I ask where people can find you, how did you get the nickname Soda? I mean, you don't drink soda. He's obviously very flavorful. Coca-Cola needs to, like, bottle you up. But where did that nickname come from? I mean, because my nickname's CADMA, and my story is pretty simple. My mom just couldn't pick a name at birth and gave me 5 names. So on my passport, they're all on there. My birth certificate, they're all on there. And my name gets chopped up, and then it gets it created a 6th name, and that's where the CADMA comes from. So now we have CADMA. Now where did soda come from?
The Outsiders, S.E. Hinton, the book or the film. All those wonderful, amazing guys when they were young coming up in that. Ralph Macchio, you know, Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, Emilio Estevez. I mean, all those guys were in there. And in high school, being kind of like the outcasts and the outsiders, the soda thing just kind of happened one night, late at night, hanging out with friends, and I was like, that's it. And then with music and writing and everything, I just started to use it, you know? And that's, I mean, I'm a John by birth. That's not as fun as soda, but the soda thing is like, it's a whole different world for me now at this point. I love it. You know, a lot of people call me Soda, some people call me John, whatever works, but
Quirky joke. Does anyone ever, every now and then, call you Pop? Because in some states, you refer to soda as Pop.
Pop, Soda Pop. Yeah, I mean, Soda Pop was the character in The Outsiders, you know, but Soda, yeah. So that's it, The Outsiders. If you don't know it, watch it or read it. Classic. Kids,
look it up. Now, for those who are like, okay, this guy is way too awesome, they want to get in on all the flavors of soda.
I'm ready to tell you
where can they find their favorite soda?
Officialsoda.com. And if you really like music, I do an awesome blog and a podcast called Music Survival Guide. You can get it at musicsurvivalguide.org. Other than that, there's tons of music. Well, just, you know what, officialsoda.com, go there, and then you can go everywhere else. You can listen, you can read, you can watch. You can do everything right there, officialsoda.com. That's the HQ.
So make sure you guys grab your straws.
Make sure it's a crazy straw, though. And make sure that, like, Oblina from Our Real Monsters is, like, sitting somewhere on there, because I think I have one of those crazy straws.
See, that's how excited I was. Did you guys see that? My hat totally fell off. I was so excited about that.
Bad bitch, man.
I love her. Okay. We're geeking out here. Make sure you guys get your crazy straws. Tune in, take a sip of some official soda, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
It's not an anime, but I am the intern.